Hello crafty friends and welcome back. It is time for my January 10 cards 1 kit video. I can't believe that we are 10 days into January already. It feels like Christmas was 5 minutes ago and all of the decorations have been put away and the house is looking pretty bare and the weather's not great, so what a perfect time to make some really bright, bold and colourful fun cards using this Love From Lizi kit. So for this first one here, I cut down my patterned paper to fit a card front, then I cut a strip and I die cut a circle. I'll use that circle die a couple of times throughout the video, and the peel-offs, of course, whenever two pieces of paper meet, you need a peel off. So you will see throughout quite a few of these cards, I'll add those peel offs just for a little bit of extra detail. I actually stayed away from foam tape quite a lot in this card, in this video, which is unusual for me. And having these peel-offs, particularly having the two sets that were included in this month's kit, just allows you to add that little bit of extra matting and create some depth on your card background. So on top of that die cut circle, I used one of the stickers, and that card is finished. Super quick and easy, but so cute. This patterned paper definitely lends itself to creating this style of card. You can just kind of cut and stick and throw on a sentiment and be good to go. So most of my cards will follow that kind of a format this month. There was a ton of patterned paper included in the kit, so I wanted to make sure to make the most of it. And I covered up all of my card bases because of that, using the patterned paper. So here I've taken a Polaroid frame and just some spare white cardstock from my stash, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this cloud stamp. I almost called it a die. We'll get to the die later on. So I prepped my scrap of white card using some anti-static powder tool, and then I stamped using Versamark because I'm going to use one of my new Love From Lizi embossing powders. If you saw my unboxing video, I got a whole bunch of the newer colours in the Love From Lizi embossing range, and I used quite a few of those in my kit today. And I'll make sure to have the ones that I used linked in the description below. So once I had my cloud good and set with my heat tool, I went ahead and did the same thing again, prepped the surface with the anti-static powder tool, stamped using my Versamark, and then used another colour of my embossing powder to create these little drops. So you saw a quick sneak of the stamp set there, and if you haven't already seen this kit online or in the unboxing videos, the stamp set has a couple of different clouds or a couple of different drop downs that you can have from the cloud, and I think it's just such a fun stamp set to play with. It works wonderfully with the stencil, which we'll get into in one of the later cards, and also, as I say, the coordinating die. So I'm adding some double-sided tape on the back of my Polaroid frame. This tape was a little bit wider than the edges of my frame, but no problem. I just go ahead and tuck any of the excess in behind that frame and you would never know. And then I'll go ahead and stick that down, and we've got this beautiful bright Polaroid frame with the adorable cloud on the inside and these little drop downs with the hearts. I'll go ahead and add some more double-sided tape and then stick this whole piece in the center at the top of my card. So these diagonal, I am just drawn to a diagonal. There's no point in denying it. You'll notice that I am definitely drawn to the diagonal stripes in these patterned papers, and this Polaroid frame I think is just adorable. There's quite a few of them included in the kit. Unfortunately, the kit is now sold out, but many of the items that were included in the kit are available as add-ons. So in the kit, I think we got maybe 4 of these Polaroid frames, but then if you go ahead and pick them up as an add-on, you get more than that in a bundle. Same with the mini envelopes, and I believe also the patterned papers are available. I'll have links in the description below to as much as possible, but if you did miss out on the kit this month, then you can always go ahead and secure your subscription for next month. And when you do that, you'll actually pay for 2 months upfront. So you pay for your first kit, and then each week you continue to pay your invoice until you get to a point where you may wish to cancel your subscription, at that point you just let the guys at Love From Lizi know, and you still receive a kit because you've got that last kit already paid for in hand. I hope that makes sense. So I went ahead and finished off that last card by stamping down my sentiment and adding some peel-offs, and now we are on to this adorable little design. So I cut down 2 pieces to be the same size as my cards. All of my cards are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I trimmed down these 2 so I could have kind of that split. So I wanted 2 different patterns on this piece, and then I used a banner die from my stash to create this banner. As I was sticking it down, I realized, hold on, I need to add more peel-offs. So I kind of peeled up the tails of this banner, and then I went ahead and added some more peel-offs, and I've cut some of this out because I added them right around the banner and along where the 2 patterned papers join. And you didn't need to watch all of that. You've seen me stick them down, you get the concept. I do make the most of all of my small pieces and kind of create joins where necessary. I think it works just fine, and it gives me more peel-offs to work with. So here I've got this little, it reminds me of like a for sale tag. It's like a little star burst, and it has a hole punched in it so you can use it as a tag. But I went ahead and positioned my sticker in a way that it covers that hole. So I've just got this kind of die cut piece, and then I'll go ahead and stick that down, and that is this card finished also. So here for card 4, we're going to get into some ink blending. I'm just using some basic masking and repeating this cloud stencil all over my background. And this stencil is so much fun to work with. It's got these beautiful clouds in the center, and then it has the cloud edges along the sides as well, so you can get so many different looks from it. And just by doing this masking and kind of moving the stencil around, I love this background. It kind of reminds me of Toy Story. That's what pops into my head when I see this cloud pattern. So once I was happy my Distress Oxide had dried, I prepped the surface with anti-static powder tool. Once again, I just cut that out because you have seen me do that a couple times. And then I added the embossing powder that came in the kit and just heat embossed those drops down from the cloud. This embossing powder gives a beautiful kind of like an iridescent sparkle, I guess, and it just works perfectly coming down from those clouds. So here I have a strip of the patterned paper, and I'm bringing out the holographic peel-offs. If you saw my unboxing, you know how crazy I went over the holographic peel-offs in particular, but also the holographic cardstock, which I picked up from the Love From Lizi store, and I've already gone ahead and turned some of that holographic card into dividers for my Filofax for the year. So I am very happy and very holographic-ified. So I stamped my sentiment, and then I'm adding some of the gems included in the kit just to kind of highlight that patterned paper on the bottom. And again, that is this card finished. I did keep things really simple for these 10 cards. I just felt like the patterned paper needed to speak for itself because it was so beautiful. And for this one, it's really simple. My camera was having a hard time focusing, but I went ahead and stamped the rainbow from the add-on stamp set, and this was just the kind of lines within the rainbow rather than the color blocks, which I'll use later on. And then I grabbed an assortment of the gems, so not the pearls this time, but the gems, and I created a rainbow using those lines as a guide. This took a couple minutes, but I think it's worth it in the end. It looks so beautiful when my camera gets itself in focus. Don't worry, it will get back to normal shortly. And then I die cut the pot that was included in the kit in the black cardstock, and die cut a whole bunch of the golden coins as well, and then just filled that pot full to the brim with gold coins. So then I grabbed the Rick Rack ribbon. That is a tongue twister. So I grabbed the Rick Rack ribbon and added some glue onto the back and then stuck that down, and I felt like it just added something to balance out this pot and to give a little bit of extra colour on this otherwise very clean and simple card. Yes, there is a lot of dimension there. Clean and simple usually wouldn't have so much dimension, but there is an awful lot of white space on this card, so I'm comfortable categorising it as clean and simple. Okay, so that is this card finished as well. So on to the next card. I love this card. This very well may be my favourite. I tend to say that about a few of my cards, but we'll see if this one sticks as my favourite. I drew just around my ruler to give me a channel that I could cut out of this patterned paper. And then I'm adding some double-sided sticky tape along the edges of those cut lines. And I'm actually going to bring back in the cut piece and use it as a spacer. So I'm making a shaker card here, and I wanted to be able to place my acetate sort of in place of that cutout piece. So I'm just using it to make sure I position the pieces perfectly apart so it will still fit on a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch note card. And then I'll go ahead and lay the acetate down on top of this, and because there's no glue on that cut apart piece, I can go ahead and remove it and I have a perfect channel. So I went ahead and added double-sided foam tape all over the back of this piece. I will go ahead and fill in the sides with very thin pieces of foam tape so all of my sequins won't fly out of the sides, so nobody panic. I haven't done it at this point, but don't worry, I don't forget. But first I want to add double-sided sticky tape to this patterned paper piece and go ahead and stick it down on my card where it would sit normally had I have stuck this down as one smooth piece, because I want to have some of that colour in the background. Now, just in case any of my edges are slightly off, I am going to use a slightly devious cheat and add some sparkle with my holographic peel-offs, so when I stick down the card panel, if it's ever so slightly misaligned, rather than seeing the white card base, we've got some interesting sparkle to look at instead. So you can see here I went ahead and added some thin pieces of foam tape along the left and right hand side so my sequins wouldn't fly out of the sides of this card, and I just covered those up with more peel-offs. So I really like the look of this shaker. I've made a lot of shakers in the past, but they tend to be kind of, through a window on the card rather than in a stripe like this. And I was really feeling this. I really like how this one looks. And I finished it off with a star sticker and a happy birthday wood glittered sentiment. Okay, so card 7 is going to need some explaining. So Lizzie sent me a visual of the add-on stamp set, and she sent this to me before it was released into the shop, and the first thing I sent back was this image you can see in the top right hand corner. I don't know if you've seen Madagascar or not, but as soon as I saw this rainbow, I was like, oh, that's super cool. And then I was like, oh, this reminds me of something I'm going to have to tell her. So I told Lizzie about this. I also told her about my idea for this card. We both had a really good giggle. Hopefully you guys will get the joke and this won't come across as, I don't know, some kind of in-joke or something that doesn't necessarily translate into a video. But I brought in one of the older Love From Lizi stamp sets and stamped my little girl here and also added on her eyelashes and then hand drew in some eyebrows. Don't hate on me for the eyebrows, they are about as even as my own natural eyebrows tend to look when I do my makeup, which is not even at all. People say they should be sisters, not twins. Mine are distant cousins. So I went ahead and die cut, I coloured her in first, then I die cut using a circle die cut again using a larger circle die using the gold cardstock, and then I added adhesive onto the back of this. And once again, you know it, we've been through this a couple times now, I added some peel-offs. So I'd moved back to the yellow peel-offs and I just cut this out so you didn't have to watch it the whole way through, but I just outlined everything with yellow peel-offs, and then I stuck down my girl with her crazy rainbow hair, and I'd kind of given her a bit of a 5 head. She didn't have a 4 head, she had maybe even a 5 or a 6. So I added a hat to disguise it. It's a trick I use myself. And then on top of that party hat, I added a Nouveau drop kind of bobble on the top of the party hat and just added some glitter along the edge as well. So I used the glitter sentiments to create, or the glitter alphabet to create my sentiment. If you know this kind of meme or this clip from Madagascar, you get where this comes from. It comes from a song that is sung during the film, and it is exactly what I thought of as soon as I saw this rainbow stamp. Yes, you can definitely use it as a rainbow, but I felt like this was really fun and it definitely made Lizzie and I laugh, so I wanted to include this in the video in the hopes that it would make some of you smile as well. So again, I've added more paper, I'm adding more peel-offs. I'm definitely addicted to them. I think this really bright yellow colour is perfect at this time of the year when everything's a little bit dreary and a little bit miserable. We've got the post-Christmas blues, the January blues. Everyone's depriving themselves of things because of their resolutions. I needed some sunshine. Okay, so throughout making these cards, whenever I cut my 6x6 patterned paper down, the first cut that I made was to make the paper 5.5 inches because that is the longest length that I needed to cover a card base. So that leaves me with a whole bunch of these strips of paper, and I'm like, what do I do with them? I'm going to create a diagonal patterned background. All I did was take some double-sided adhesive and cover my card panel and then lay down the strips and trim off the excess, and I think it looks great. And this is definitely something you could do with any of the pattern papers that you get kind of month in, month out. If you've got a 6x6 pattern paper, chances are you're going to have at least ½ inch that you don't know what to do with. Here's your go-to. So to go on top of this really bright and colourful card base that we've created, I grabbed one of the wooden hearts. Again, these are available as an add-on item, and I grabbed one of the envelopes, also available as an add-on item, and I folded up kind of a strip of white cardstock, and I wanted this to be almost like a really long like message piece coming out of the envelope. And you could go ahead and write your message on here or stamp a sentiment. I've left mine blank for now because I'm not too sure what I want to put on there. And then to help keep it flat to the card base, I just tied some of the skinny gold ribbon around this heart piece, stuck the envelope on top, and then placed it all onto my card. So when the recipient gets this, they can open it up, they can pull that heart, and they'll get an additional message. And then I'll just go ahead and tie this up and tie it in a bow so it looks kind of presentable on the front of the card, and it helps to hold that wooden piece in place because it's got that kind of concertina fold of cardstock behind it that makes it want to kind of boop up, is that a word? I'm going with it, and move around the card. So I finished this off with a smile sticker, and this card is finished too. Okay, so card number 10, we have got it here pretty quickly today. I have sped through this and cut out any of the repeating steps where possible. Do let me know if you prefer to see all of those steps or if you're happier with this kind of shortened version. I'm happy to do whatever you guys prefer. For me, it just made sense not to see me kind of peeling off and sticking down the peel-offs over and over again because you know I'm going to use them over and over again. I'm not going to be able to help myself. So I'm adding this beautiful patterned paper to my card base, again 4.25 by 5.5, and then I'll stick down my happy birthday on this blue paper. I've die cut another circle from the gold cardstock, and I wanted to use it in conjunction with this sticker because I felt like the curve of the circle was exactly the same as the curve on the hello sticker, so it would make a nice kind of layering piece. And I could go ahead and tuck the rest of it behind this banner and just leave the hello poking out with that little gold halo around it. So I'll grab this happy birthday piece and I'm going to go ahead and add some foam. I haven't used too much of it apart from on my shaker card. I've got to add some foam on a couple cards, so I added it onto this piece here, and it definitely helps to disguise any of the bulk of having the ribbon kind of bend around this panel. You definitely could lay it down flat, but I think it's nice to have that foam there. And then one final time, I'll go ahead and grab my peel-offs and just outline everything with the yellow peel-offs. So once I'm happy with that, I will move on to using a couple more of my stickers just to add some interest in that top left-hand corner. I've got this little rainbow with the clouds, and then we have this little star as well. And I think I called this card 10 earlier. I totally lied. This is card 9, and this is card 10. So I've sped up this section just while I do some basic ink blending using my Distress Oxide ink again, and I'm working directly on my card panel, so whenever I kind of flip it around I will make sure to clean my mat so all that blue doesn't get on the inside of my card. And I'm just using a piece of the foam tape release paper to keep my hands clean. Once that Distress Oxide was dry, I stamped all over this background using two different sizes of the clouds, one from the main stamp set and one from the add-on stamp set, and I covered those with the Teal embossing powder, which I purchased as an add-on. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the cloud die. This card is my joint favourite with the other one that I said was my favourite. So I die cut out one of these clouds. Then I went ahead and added some double-sided sticky tape on the inside, on the back side, so I could stick it on the inside of my card. So you have this little kind of peekaboo, so you can see the cloud and it all looks like one smooth piece, but then you open it up and it's on the inside of the card. And I think that's just a really fun effect. So to add to the drama, I'm going to say drama of this, I stamped some of the drops underneath the cloud. I'm again using my Versamark, and then I covered it with this blue embossing powder. This is so stunning. I love this blue. Then I'll go ahead and tip any of the excess back into the jar and heat set that with my heat gun. So not only when you open up the card do you get this surprise of the cloud being on the inside, but you've got the extra kind of part of the image where you can see those drops. So here I've got the white ribbon and I've added double-sided sticky tape all over the back, so I've got a self-adhesive ribbon, and I am going to fake a ribbon tied onto my card. This is how I prefer to do this. I will stick the ribbon down first and trim away the excess, then I will spend about 15 minutes trying to tie the perfect bow. One day I will get it down to 2 minutes, but for now we're probably at about 15, and then I'll go ahead and stick that down on top so it looks like you've tied it directly onto the card. So I'm grabbing another sentiment here and I'll go ahead and stamp that inside one of the clouds because it fits just perfectly, and this card will be finished. I love it. It kind of has like a Tiffany's feel to it with the blue and the white ribbon. Okay, it is time for the recap. I will bring each of the cards back on screen for you now, and as I do so, I'm just going to remind you that sneak peeks for next month's kit are due to start in just a couple of days over on the Love From Lizi Instagram. So if you're not following it, check out the links in the description below, and you can also check out the links to the products used in today's video. I will try and link multiple options for the subscription and also the add-on items that are available in the store, so you can get hold of them while they are in stock. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and these really cheerful cards. I certainly enjoyed creating them for you. Do let me know in the comment section below which one is your favourite. Let me know if you've seen Madagascar and if the Circus Afro card landed well with you, or if you didn't get what I was talking about whatsoever. And I hope to see you back here again soon for my next video. That's all from me today. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.